Welcome to another ESO build guide. I'm Dying Legacy and this is Strom Rage. This is an updated guide for the Scribes of Fate patch. My solo stamina sorcerer has gone through a bit of an overhaul and now has increased survivability and incredible AoE and single target damage. Soloing veteran dungeons and arenas has never been easier. This is a quick build guide. We'll be going over the race, attributes, Munda stones, food, potions, gear, skills, passives and the champion point slotables. The info will be minimal, so I'll only be going over what's necessary. However, do feel free to comment below if you have any questions or suggestions. If you're here often, why not like and subscribe while you're at it? With the intro covered, let's go over the Stom Rage build. Starting with the race, you can play any race you like. You do have to enjoy the game first, but if you're looking to get the best out of the build, any stamina based race will work, so either the Red Guard for more sustain, the Khajiit for extra critical damage, Orc for extra weapon damage, the Wood Elf for sustain and penetration, and also the Dark Elf for rounded stats and weapon and spell damage. For the attributes, we're putting 64 points into stamina, and for our Munda stones, we'll take the Lover Munda stone for extra spell and physical penetration when we're doing solo content. If we're doing group content, we'll be taking the Thief Munda stone for extra critical rating. For our food, we are taking the Artaeum Takeaway Broth to increase our health recovery, max stamina and stamina recovery. If that's too expensive, we can use the Dubious Cameronian Throne. The stats are slightly lower and it doesn't give health recovery. You make these yourself at the alchemy station or buy them from a guild merchant. For the potions, we're using Essence of Weapon Power, which grants us major brutality, major savagery, major endurance, and it's going to restore some stamina immediately. You can also just pop an Essence of Stamina potion instead. They will give us major endurance and restore some stamina immediately as well. They are your run-of-the-mill default potions that drop from every enemy in the game. They are free stats, so there's no reason not to use them. Moving on to the gear now, we are using 6 medium armor pieces and 1 light armor piece on this build, all with the Divine's trait and the stamina enchant. For the jewellery, we are using the Bloodthirsty trait and weapon and damage enchants. For our weapons, we are using dual daggers for our front bar. Our main hand will be Nirnhone with a poison enchant, and our offhand will be charged with a fire enchant. For our back bar, we are taking a two-handed greatsword with the infused trait and a weapon damage enchant. Moving on to the sets themselves, starting with the body pieces, which are the chest, waist, hands, legs and feet. Our first choice is a trial set and it's the Arms of Reliquance set. This set is gotten from Cloudrest, and on veteran difficulty you can get a perfected version which adds extra stamina to the set. It's a minor increase compared to the unperfected version, so it doesn't matter what version you use. The set itself gives us critical chance, minus slayer at all times, and our light and heavy attacks add a stacking damage over time effect to our targets that lasts for 5 seconds and it stacks up to 10 times. If you haven't stepped into a trial or want to use something else, you can use the Aegis Caller set, which is gotten in the DLC Unhallowed Grave Dungeon. This set adds weapon and spell damage, stamina recovery, and when you do critical damage with a martial melee attack, you'll summon a lesser Aegis for 11 seconds, which will deal bleed damage every 1 second. If you're looking for a little more healing, you could also go with the Briarheart set, which is gotten from Hrothgar overland content, such as delves, world bosses and public dungeons. You can also pick it up at a guild vendor. Briarheart comes with critical chance and maximum stamina, and when you deal critical damage, your weapon and spell damage increases for 10 seconds, and while the effect is active, you'll also heal when you do critical damage. For our weapons and jewellery, we are going with the Runecarver's Blaze set, which is found in the DLC dungeon Scrivener's Hall. This set adds weapon and spell damage as well as offensive penetration, and it also causes our damage over time abilities to deal flame damage every 3rd tick of their damage. For our monster sets, for our helm and shoulder slots, we have 2 choices. We could use the Bloodspawn set. The helm can be gotten from Spindle Clutch 2 on veteran and the shoulders from the Undaunted vendors. This set adds stamina recovery, and when we take damage we have a small chance to gain extra ultimate and to increase our resistances by 3601 for 5 seconds. Our second choice is the Stormfist set from the Tempest Island. Again, the helm from veteran difficulty and the shoulder from the Undaunted vendor. Stormfist adds stamina recovery, and when you deal damage you have a chance to summon a fist to close around the enemy, dealing shock damage every 1 second for 3 seconds to all enemies within 4 meters. When the fist closes, it does a large amount of physical damage. Now for the Ring of the Pale Order, which is gotten from the Antiquity system. When using this, we will heal for 20% of all the damage we do. We can't be healed by anyone but ourselves, and the healing we do does decrease when we're in groups. The ring will take up a ring slot, so we'll need to wear 1 piece of our jewellery set on either our shoulder or helm. The slot doesn't matter. We'll lose our 2 set bonus from our monster set, but we'll still have the 1 slot bonus. You can stick with Bloodspawn or Stormfist for the 1 piece bonus, or you could also use the Magma Incarnate set. The head is from the Dreadcellar DLC dungeon on veteran, and the shoulders come from the Undaunted vendors. Magma Incarnate's 1 set bonus will give us Magicka and stamina recovery. Lastly is the Maelstrom two-handed sword, which is gotten from the Maelstrom Arena, and we'll be using this in our back bar. There's a perfected version from veteran difficulty which adds extra offensive penetration. It doesn't matter which version we're using, as we are more interested in the base effect, which is when dealing damage with critical charge, we cause enemies to bleed for over 10 seconds. If you don't have a Maelstrom two-handed weapon, you can stick with a Runecarver's Blaze two-handed weapon. Now that's everything for the gear, and now it's time for the skills, starting with the front bar. First skill up is Blood Craze. Morph this from Twin Slashes, which is found in the Dual Wield skill line. This will deal bleed damage and cause the enemy to bleed for 20 seconds, and it also heals us over its duration. The second skill in the front bar is Barbed Trap. Morph from Trap Beast and can be found in the Fighter's Guild skill line. The trap deals bleed damage and causes the enemy to bleed for 20 seconds, and it also grants us Minor Force. The damage has a higher chance of causing the hemorrhaging status effect, and enemies who trigger the trap can be immobilized for 2 seconds. Next up is Lightning Flood, morphed from Lightning Splash and found in the Stormcalling skill line. This places an AoE at a target location for 10 seconds that causes lightning damage. An ally standing within the AoE can use the Conduit synergy to deal damage to enemies around them. We'll follow that up with Bound Armament, which is morphed from Bound Armor and is found in the Daedric Summoning skill line. For 40 seconds, our light and heavy attacks will summon a weapon for 10 seconds up to 4 times. You can reactivate the skill for half cost, causing the weapons to strike for physical damage every 0.3 seconds, and while slotted it will increase our max stamina by 8%. The fifth skill on our front bar is Hurricane. This is morphed from Lightning form and it's found in the Stormcalling skill line. You'll buff it nearby enemies with wind, dealing physical damage for 20 seconds, and the area size and damage it deals increases the longer the buff is up. While in this form you gain Major Resolve and Minor Expedition. For the ultimate on the front bar, we're using Flawless Dawnbreaker, morphed from Dawnbreaker and found in the Fighter's Guild skill line. You will deal physical damage to enemies in front of you and additional physical damage over 6 seconds, and after activating it will increase our weapon and spell damage by 300 for 20 seconds. Now moving on to the back bar, and the first skill up is Stampede, morphed from Critical Charge, which is found in the two-handed skill line. You'll charge an enemy and deal physical damage to them and nearby enemies. This is always a critical strike. You'll also leave an AoE under their feet for 15 seconds that deals physical damage. And if you're using the Maelstrom two-handed weapon, you'll cause enemies you hit to bleed for an extra 10 seconds. Next is Carve, which is morphed from Cleave, which is found in the two-handed skill line. You'll deal bleed damage to enemies in front of you and cause them to bleed for 12 seconds. Hitting an enemy again will add 10 seconds to the duration, up to a max duration of 32 seconds. This also gives us a damage shield that lasts for 6 seconds. We're also using Razor Caltrops, morphed from Caltrops and found in the Assault skill line. This will create an AoE that does physical damage to targets standing inside and slowing their movement speed. Enemies that take damage this way have Major Breach applied to them. And now for the fourth skill on the back bar, we're using Consuming Trap, morphed from Soul Trap and found in the Soul skill line. This deals magic damage for 20 seconds, and if the affected enemy dies, it will fill an empty soul gem and restore magicka, stamina and health to us. Next up is Resolving Vigor, morphed from Vigor and found in the Assault skill line. This will cause us to heal for 5 seconds, and it'll also give us Minor Resolve. The ultimate on the back bar is Greater Storm Atronach, morphed from Summon Storm Atronach and found in the Summon Daedric skill line. This will summon a Storm Atronach to the target location. The Atronach deals shock damage and stuns enemies for 3 seconds. The Atronach attacks the closest enemy, dealing shock damage every second. An ally near the Atronach can activate the Charged Lightning synergy, granting themselves and the Atronach a major berserk for 8 seconds. That's everything for the skills, so we're going to go over the passives now, starting with our class passives. First up is the Dark Magic skill line. We want to take Unholy Knowledge and Persistence. We have no use for Blood Magic and Exploitation as we're not using any Dark Magic skills. In the Daedric Summoning skill line, we want everything, so we're taking Rebate, Power Stone, Daedric Protection and Expert Summoner. And in the Stormcalling skill line, we want everything in here as well, so that's Capacitor, Energized, Amplitude and Expert Mage. We are using dual daggers, so we'll be taking everything in the Dual Wield skill line. These are Slaughter, Dual Wield Expert, Control Fury, Ruffian and Twin Blade and Blunt. Next is the two-handed skill line. Again, we'll take everything. This includes Forceful, Heavy Weapons, Balanced Blade, Follow-Up and Battle Rush. We're also wearing medium armor, so we'll take everything in the medium armor skill line as well, which are Windwalker, Improved Sneak, Agility and Athletics. We're also using light armor on the build, so again we'll be taking everything just like the medium armor skill line. These are Grace, Evocation, Spellwarding and Concentration. We're also using some Fighter Guild skills, so we'll be taking Fighter's Guild passives. In here we'll be taking Intimidating Presence, Slayer, Banish the Wicked and Skilled Tracker. And in the Undaunted guild skill line, we'll be taking Undaunted Command and Undaunted Metal. Now, this next passive is optional, and it can be found in the Assault skill line, and it's Continuous Attack. We only need to put 1 point into this to get Major Gallop. We get nothing extra for adding a second point, unless you do plan on doing PvP with this build. Now it's time for the racial passives. These are specific to your race. You're going to want to grab everything and you're going to want to have a read over them, just so you know what they do and understand what benefits and advantages they have. Every race has different passives, so do read over them, but also make sure you're grabbing everything regardless. I've also had some of these suggested races passives on screen as we're doing this, just so you know what they look like. And lastly, one more optional passive. This one I would class as necessary though, and it's Medicinal Use. This is found in the Alchemy skill line, and it causes our potions to last much longer and makes potions outlast their cooldown, so you can always have a potion active. So in my books, this one is a necessary skill as it's the most handiest. And with that said and done, that concludes the passives. So now we're going to move straight on to the champion point slottables, beginning in the Warfare tree. In here we want Wrathful Strikes to increase weapon and spell damage. We want Fighting Finesse to increase our critical damage and healing. We also want Deadly Aim to increase our single target damage attacks. And we also want to grab Thaumaturge to increase our damage over time attacks. Over in the Fitness tree skill line, we want Boundless Vitality to increase our health. We're also taking Fortify to increase our armour, as well as Rejuvenation for increased sustain, and we'll also be taking Bloody Renewal to help get back stamina when we kill an enemy. Over in the Craft tree skill line, it'll mostly be down to your own choice and your style of play, as nothing here really impacts the build, and it's mostly down to your play style and how you enjoy to engage with content. When I'm soloing, I like to take Treasure Hunter to increase the quality of items I find in chests. I also like to grab Rationeer to increase my food duration, and Liquid Efficiency to give myself a small chance to not consume a potion or a poison when I'm using them. I also like to take Steed's Blessing to increase my out of combat movement speed, and to generally get around a bit quicker, and just to get things done that bit faster. And hopefully this has helped a bit, or even given you a few ideas of your own. If it has, comment below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this video is of use to you. If you're an MMO fan in general, you can join me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/dyinglegacy. Maybe you're not a fan, you can still pop by and tell me. Anywho, video's over. You can get out of here now. Thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and keep being awesome.